Dolphins versus Giants, Week 5, a huge game back at Hard Rock Stadium. This team needs to bounce back after a terrible game last week in Buffalo, but either way, getting into this preview, starting out with these injury reports, Robert Jones and Nick Needham are both out tomorrow, which makes sense. They were both just taken off of the IR a couple days ago, but they were both limited the entire week of practice, which means they're probably going to be back within the next week or so, which is great. Nick Needham is going to be a huge addition to the secondary because they've been struggling so far this year. And on the questionable list is Lester Cotton, Jalen Phillips, and Connor Williams. Now, Connor Williams is the most important guy on this entire list because Liam Eichenberg, his snaps might actually be better than Connor Williams, but the pass protection is so much worse. So we need Connor Williams back, especially if we're gonna, especially if we need a win. Jalen Phillips, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play because it's the Giants, and we'll get into their injury report in a second. But the pass rush may be totally fine without Jalen Phillips. But either way, moving on to the Giants, Andrew Thomas starting left tackle, Shane Lamo starting left guard, and John Michael Smits starting center, all out tomorrow, which is huge. That's the entire left side, including the middle of their offensive line, all out tomorrow, which I'm going to talk about the pass rush in a bit, but they better have a game tomorrow. Saquon Barkley, Daniel Bellinger, and Micah McFadden are all questionable. Of course, Saquon being the most important guy on that list. We'll see if he ends up playing. I really don't know because I don't know if they're going to try to push him back, but at the same time, they're desperate for a win because they're 1-3 coming into this game. And they play in Buffalo on Sunday night next week, so they can easily be 1-5 in the next week or so. But either way, getting into these matchups for this week, first one I have is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle versus Wink Martindale's defense. Now, he was asked about what he's been doing planning for this Dolphins offense, and he said he's been literally up at night crying and sleeping. So there's definitely a lot of strategies that haven't been going well for this Giants defense, but of course, the Giants have not been playing well at all this year. Like I said, they're 1-3, but those performances have not been great. Even that game versus the Cardinals where they won, their only win of the season so far, they were down like 21-0 at halftime. So there's really no reason this Dolphins offense shouldn't be cooking against the Giants defense. Next matchup I have is Saquon Barkley against the Dolphins rushing defense. Like I said, I don't know if he's even going to play, but if he does, the rush defense needs to show up. Of course, they've been struggling all year. And Saquon Barkley is one of the probably top 5 running back in the NFL, so there's no way that this Dolphins defense would be able to completely shut him down. But coming off of an injury, he shouldn't be able to completely torch us on the ground. So this Dolphins run defense needs to show up if he plays. Even if he doesn't play, they need to show up against Matt Breida. But either way, getting into my favorite part of these previews, the 5 things the Dolphins need to do to win this game. Number 1. Please sack Daniel Jones. I had to put a please in front of it today because they have not been bringing quarterbacks down in the past couple weeks. Please sack Daniel Jones tomorrow. I really forgot what the stat was, but I think Seattle brought Daniel Jones down last week on Monday Night Football. Was it 11 times? Maybe 7, 8, 9. It was something in that range. It was something crazy, though. The Dolphins pass rush needs to get to Daniel Jones. Please, we can sometimes put pressure on quarterbacks, but we can never bring them down. I think we had maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 sacks against Josh Allen last week, but it didn't really matter because we lost by 30 points. Andrew Van Ginkel had a really good game. Versus Russell Wilson, we only sacked him once. Versus Mac Jones, we sacked him maybe 3 or 4 times. Justin Herbert, we only sacked him twice. We need to bring down Daniel Jones, and it is there. If they can't do it, there's something wrong with this defense, and whether it's Vic Fangio or the personnel on the defense, there's something up. So please sack Daniel Jones. Like I said, 3 out of the 5 starting offensive line are out. They got to make something happen. Number 2, home field defense. Like I said, the defense hasn't been playing great this year at all. Week 1, they didn't play good. They barely, the offense would really carry the defense in that game where we beat the Chargers. Week 2, they played better. Week 3, they played great, but it was the Broncos. The offense put up 70 points. There was no possible way the defense could have played bad that game. And then week 4, of course, it didn't go well at all. So they're going to need to step it up. The only game at home this year so far, there's been 2 forced fumbles and an interception. So continue that home field defense. Next week, they have Bryce Young and the Panthers coming down. So it should be a fun game for the defense next weekend. But continue that home field defense this weekend versus the Giants. Number 3, getting to the offense, run the ball. I'm not saying start running because they have been running the ball and they've been doing it really well. That's why I'm saying continue running it. Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, like I said, they've been one of the best running back duos so far this year. So, the rush offense has been really, really great for Miami so far. Keep it going versus this Giants rush defense. They shouldn't be able to stop Achane and Raheem Mostert both. So they should be splitting carries. Let them do that. And just, number 4, let the offense control the game. Like I said, that all starts with running the ball. And going back to the matchups, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle should not be able to be covered the entire game by, Deontay Banks and Adoree Jackson. So let Tua cook and, he's going to have a great bounce back game. I already know he is. This whole entire team will. They were humbled last week in Buffalo. I know that they're going to bounce back really, really well this week. So the offense is going to have a crazy game. I'll get to the score prediction in a bit, but the score is pretty high. Number 5 is smart football. Don't have any stupid flags. The snaps better not be an issue. I'm talking to you, Connor Williams or Liam Eichenberg. Hopefully it's Connor Williams, though. No fumbles, just play smart football. It's like, win this game, of course, that's all that matters, but just play a smart game. And before I get into the score prediction, just want to talk about a few things. The first thing is that it's about Chubb, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Jalen Phillips. Like I said, Jalen Phillips might not even play because the pass rush may not even really need him. If he's not 100%, I don't want him playing. But if he does play, I really want Vic Fangio to, look at some things in the pass rush with Chubb on the sideline and Andrew Van Ginkel on one side, Jalen Phillips on the other side, because Chubb hasn't been great this year. He had one good game versus New England, I'd say. But with AVG on one side and Jalen Phillips on the other side, those are two speedy guys on the edge. So having those two guys coming around the edge may be a great formula to success for this defense. So we'll see what Fangio does. He needs to have a good game though, because he's definitely not on the hot seat. It's only week 4, but at the same time, he's got to step it up because he was this defensive mastermind that was brought in after Josh Boyer was fired. And the defense has been living up to expectations so far. I know that there's no Jalen Ramsey or anything, but you got to figure it out without him. So, my score prediction for this game, I never have the Dolphins winning by this much, but I have them winning 42-17. 42-17 is my final score prediction for this game. I think the Giants are going to score. They're going to score eventually. Because that's just how it's going to go with the Dolphins. But I think that the offense puts up 42. It may be even more, if I'm being honest. That defense has not been good so far this year. The Giants beat them 40-0, so there's no reason why the Dolphins shouldn't be able to put up 50. But 42-17 is my score prediction for this game. But either way, that'll wrap up. The Dolphins need to bounce back in this game, and I think they're going to do it at home in front of the fans. That'll wrap up. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.